Shalom. Before we begin the lesson, all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers of Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which was given to him by the mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwaf. We one day close to the kingdom. This your brother, How the Boy, back at you with a quick lesson on the updates on the unraveling of Babylon the Great. Because once again, DJ, the cruel Lord that's mentioned in Isaiah the 19th chapter, he's puffing at his enemies again. But now he got new enemies. These used to be his allies. He done put a 50% tariff tax on Canada that's supposed to start to take place September the 8th. And Canada had already retaliated. So we got a couple of news articles we're going to read over. Look at this. Carney matches Trump's tariff with 50% tax on U.S. dairy and steel. And then we're going to play this clip from Dabu 7 because as we've been saying, as the men of GMS have been saying, this is all a plan for them to try to crash the global economy because they need a reset. They are desperately in need of a reset so they can try to implement the MOTB, that chip, to where you will not be able to buy and sell unless you got it. So they got to make conditions on earth real grave for the people. Order RKO, problem, reaction, solution. Right? So they got to make it bad for everybody. Now let's look at this. Because Canada is one of their major trading partners. And as we're going to read from we're going to get some scriptures, the nations are mad. Why? Because all these motherfuckers do is go around bullying people and putting sanctions and tariffs and embargoes on them. If you don't want to drink their wine. Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada matched the new tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump and announced new support programs for Canadian businesses hurt by the escalating trade war with the country's largest trading partner. He just creating enemies all the way around the board. That's why I say everybody gonna shoot their arrows over here at Babylon the Great. They shall hate the whore, because I believe Canada is a part of NATO. Yeah. Canada will double its existing counter tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum products to 50%, which is only gonna hurt the consumers over here in America. Babylon the Great. American-made milk, furniture, clothing, and apparel will also have 50% duties applied, as will video game consoles, smartphones, and other electronics. So that would mean, but you know how DJ is. He's a clown. So he gonna take back. He gonna fall back on. He gonna scale back on this threats. Tell them Edomite countries. Watch. Overall, the retaliatory levies will affect $20 billion worth of annual U.S. exports to Canada. Hope that's cut off. Kal halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Roughly matching the dollar value impact of the tariffs the White House put on Canadian products on Saturday. It's equal to about 6% of U.S. exports to Canada last year. The counter tariffs, which are set to take effect on September the 8th, will mark a sharp reversal in Carney's approach. Okay, Shalaki. So these counter tariffs are gonna take effect on September the 8th. But from what I just read, it looks like DJ implemented his on Saturday, this past Saturday. Hold on, though, I got another one. Canada strikes back at U.S. with retaliatory tariffs as trade war escalates. The house is truly divided. Now, the Edomites up in Canada, I believe that used to be a French colony. Y'all still got to pay for what y'all did to the children of Israel, too. In particular, the nation of Gad, right? The so-called Native Americans, because they were up in Canada also. Look at the history on that. The boarding schools that the Canadians had and how they killed the natives. Canada struck back at the United States on Tuesday with retaliatory tariffs on about $20 billion worth of American goods, including steel, dairy products, appliances, and farm equipment. Farm equipment too, huh? Yeah. So guess what? Soon come, along with the lack of food production because of the weather and all the other natural events, it's finna get ugly over here in Babylon. Hey, and Canada is threatening to cut the power to the 1.5 million people they service over here in America. So, hey, them strong apparitions are coming. Let's get this. Jeremiah 51. Now, these same precepts coming out. Because, why? Because it's time for this country, Babylon the Great, and the rest of the beast system to be destroyed. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. Now these nations don't want to drink that wine no more. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. They mad because all these policies that they keep trying to come up with, the new ones, right? If you don't want to deal with us, we're going to put tariffs on your sanctions and embargoes, right? Let's get this at the New Testament because this was taking place. Let me see if I got it right. No, it's Mark 3. Shalaki is right here. Mark 3:23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? That's what's going on right now. These Edomites around the world, wherever they leading countries at, whether it be Germany, France, Great Britain, Canada, America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, Spain, I already said Spain, Portugal, Greece, Italy, they're all in conflict with each other because certain things that are being done on the geopolitical stage, they are not in agreement with. But they all under one accord when it comes to that New World Order. Just believe that. They just trying to see who's going to be the one running it. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Did you ever see the day coming where Canada would be at a trade war with America? And J.D. Vance steady shooting shots at them, calling them the 51st state. It's going to cause them to come at America militarily. Their house is divided. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Correct, Esau, Edom. That's why your house is going down. You are being a recipient of the curses from Deuteronomy 30:7, as the Lord said it would happen. Now, all you got to do, Edomites, so-called white man, go read the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 15 verse on down. All those curses are being placed upon you. And if Satan rise up against itself and be divided, he cannot stand but half an end. Matter of fact, let's just get it. Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And who was that? Number one, house being what? Esau, Edom, so-called modern-day white man. And let's get this. Because they are the wicked that's mentioned in the Bible. And now they turning on each other. So they can destroy each other's economies. To crash each other's economies. To bring the people down to near death and starvation, famine. To where they can say, we need help from the government. Oh, we got this new world order right here. Take this chip. The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorreth. Now, did not DJ come out and say, like I just said, Canada, they considering Canada the 51st state, and they want to take over Greenland too. They want to do a greater American project, just as the people over there in our homeland trying to do the greater Israeli project. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High Power. The Most High Power is not in all his thoughts. Now, it's evident that the Most High Power did not impart any kind of righteous wisdom unto the whole nation of Esau, Edom, so-called modern-day white man. Everything they do is contrary to what the Lord say, which makes them what? The spiritual demon, physical counterpart of the spiritual demon, Satan, here on earth. Because he's always adverse to the ways of the Lord. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight as for all his enemies. Because right now, he looking at Canada as an enemy. Because he putting them tariffs on them. A 50% tariff on that. He puffing at them. He threatening them. But guess what? Them Canadians say, we ain't scared of your motherfucking ass. We're going to put the same retaliatory tariff on your ass. Or 50% tariff on your shit. He have said in his heart, who? Babylon the Great. Especially DJ, the poster child. I shall not be moved. He said he want to be the president again for a third term. That's unprecedented. Boy, these Edomites went crazy. For I shall never be in adversity. Let's read this real quick in the NLT. And then we're going to play this clip, Israel. The wicked arrogantly hunt down the poor. They already got us in nationaries. Now they going after their own family members. Huh? Let them be caught in the evil they plan for others, for they brag about their evil desires. They want Canada. And since Canada ain't agreeing with them on all their policies, don't want to drink all that wine no more, they coming at them. They praise the greedy and curse Yahweh. The wicked are too proud to seek the Most High power. They seem to think the Most High power is dead. There you go to the point. Yet they succeed in everything they do. He think he's going to be successful in these tariffs. Now it came out, the first round of tariffs that you put on the other countries, which the American public had to pay for, you didn't pay them companies back. Or you planning on paying them back. But the customer, the consumer, they will never see their money back. They do not see your punishment awaiting them. They sure don't. Just like it's mentioned in Isaiah the 14th chapter. How have they fallen from heaven? Roughly paraphrased. We might go to that. They sneer at all their enemies. They think nothing bad will ever happen to us. We will be free of trouble forever. That's the thought of Babylon the Great. They don't think no calamity gonna hit them. They think they can't be touched by no military because they got a natural defense, the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. But what the Lord said about the land of unwalled villages, you're going to be destroyed, motherfucker. Ain't no way around it. Shalaki. I was finna get something. Oh, Shalaki, here we go right here. Woe to the bloody city, because through the spirit, America is Nineveh too. We'll just read this and then we're going to play the clip of Shalaki. Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. Who is the prey? Us. The noise of a whip and the noise of a rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses. Here go the point. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. When did they do that? When they sold us. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. All these other nations, they starting to turn on America. They ain't scared of y'all no more. Fuck your tariffs. Fuck your embargoes. And your sanctions. Because China say, we ain't honoring the sanctions you putting on Iran. Iran say, fuck y'all too. We already know Russia trying to go around it. And now you coming at one of your biggest trading partners. One of your allies. Yeah, there's no more wisdom in teaming. Obadiah 1. And 2, behold, I've made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Small meaning nothing, meaningless. Let's make sure. Insignificant. Yeah, you unimportant now. You just be puffing up at your enemies. They not taking you seriously. Now watch, as I said before, you're going to fall back on them tariffs because they answered you back. Just like China did. Because just like China, you got to get rare earth minerals from Canada to fuel your military needs. So that ain't going to last long. So like, where is it at? It is. Because all the wisdom is gone. All they tactics that this government is using, DJ and his cabinet, all of that shit is being exposed. It don't work out. Like I said, it come to naught. Obadiah 1:8 shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, so-called modern day white man. They don't have no kind of understanding. This is not how you deal with countries, man. But hey, they finding out. Let's read this. Fair use in full effect. Ain't nobody scared of DJ. He puffed at his enemies. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Fair use in full effect. This is for news reporting, teaching, and educational purposes only. So not only you got beef with the European Union, NATO countries over there, now you got beef with Canada, right? And you already said, but you probably would, once again, puffing up at your enemies, you finna withdraw from NATO. Go right on ahead. Now let's see how Great Britain, France, Spain, and Germany, among others, continue to deal with the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, because the nations are mad. Let's go back to that. Matter of fact, let me see. Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And everybody know that's Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, who got the most military bases worldwide, right? And who else can say this? What other country? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Who can say that about another country other than this one? Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. Now all these kings, they mad at the wine that she's selling to them now. So they bucking up. And hopefully this trade war with Canada will escalate. That's going to further destroy the American economy. Guess what it is right here? As it is written, the Lord have laid a snare from them. We'll get that. Thinking you doing some of these countries. He that ruled the nations, the people with a continual stroke. Let me get that. Yeah. This is going to be a future proverb. And we see why it's going to be this way, because these things are leading up to that. Right? They got trade wars going with China. Sanctions on Russia. Sanctions on Iran. War with Iran. You putting another tariff on your so-called ally. Your allies in NATO ready to get ready for your ass to get the fuck away. This what happens when a kingdom falls. The groundwork, the ground foundation start to crumble. Right? The economy crashing. The military is weak. They women have turned on them. Right? No employment. People steady losing their jobs. The crops are failing. You ain't gonna be able to feed the people. And it's pestilence on the earth. And on top of that, the Lord is visiting the earth with natural disasters also. Droughts, wildfires, floods. And they keep speaking about a power outage that's gonna last 18 months. So prepare yourselves. They saying it before they happen. But guess what? The Lord already said it was gonna happen. It's gonna be real dark. So dark you can't even see your fucking hand. I think that might be Wisdom of Solomon around 17th chapter. Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, dumbass DJ, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. Now, what you putting tariffs on them folks for? Because they don't agree with all your policies. But they saying they here to help. This is democracy. Yeah. Let me get this one, since I mentioned it earlier. Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Now, DJ ain't nothing but a puppet. He being led by these elite because they want to secure their supremacy and rulership on earth forever. But the Lord is foiling their plans, right? And they using him as a puppet. And he puffing up at everybody too. He don't care as long as they give him some money. Yeah, so many future prophecies coming for Esau, Edom as they continue to rapidly fall. That's all we need. Or was I finna get something? Let me think. Nope, that's it, Israel. We one day close to the kingdom. Shalom.
The United States is being threatened by Canada. They're saying that they're going to cut off the electricity. They're really going at Trump over all this. And they're saying it's Trump's trade war and everything that's going on that's making everything spiral out of control. You have this fresh crisis. You have the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, telling Trump to kiss his butt. And he didn't use that word. He threatened to cut off all electricity into the United States in response to this threat of tariffs. He goes on to say that Trump is arrogant, he's cocky, and that he doesn't have any respect whatsoever for the Canadian manufacturing, the government, or anything like that. Ford goes on to say that they power 1.5 million homes and businesses and says that everything is on the table. He'll do whatever it takes. And goes on to say Trump better have a pack of batteries. Anyone and everyone should be hearing this, especially if you're up in the corridor where they're supplying this energy in the winter months, because that's really where they kick in here in terms of the power. Trump firing back, saying that we're always going to be richer and stronger and bigger than Canada, and acting like it's high school. But the back and forth is a real deal. The tariffs are something we the people pay, if you haven't figured that out by now. And this is going to be bad in terms of Canada, in terms of power, and all the goods that come through the northern border. So he goes on with the threats here, on and on, saying that they'll pull whatever strings that they have to economically here against Trump. And Trump saying that Canada could face far worse consequences if its leaders do not fall in line. So he's basically saying bow down or else. Ford also warned that Canada could restrict supplies of critical minerals to the U.S. as this trade war escalates. He says, I'll cut them off. You won't get a grain of anything. This is serious, folks. This is leveled up, and it's all part of this world stage, the theatrics, that I believe is going to usher in a reset. That's what this is all working toward. In the meantime, there could be some pain in a lot of different areas. You don't have to just worry about Hormuz, the Strait of Tears, and all of that. Now you got to worry about our northern neighbor here, Canada, and this whole thing. It's ill-timed, if you ask me, but it serves a purpose in the end for the elites, so to speak, because they want to reset this place. And that's what they're working to do, and you're going to see here sooner or later that's exactly what's going on. They're walking everyone into a digital trap country by country. Do not fall for it. Join me on the live stream.